Well, this is it, and I don't say that very often about a poster. This is it. I've wanted this for years and years and years, and finally got it in this week. Excuse me, and we'll take our time to go through it. It's just an amazing, large, colorful 1958 Globe Posters concert poster for an amazing tour featuring Buddy Holly and the Crickets and the Everly Brothers and a host of others. Interesting how the Everly Brothers are top billed. I'll bring it in a little closer for a look-see here. That's Buffalo, New York, by the way, the Paramount Theater. In person, the Everly Brothers, Phil and Don. And then, wow, I mean, the design is just great. It's so interesting how the strongest talent arguably is down the middle, including Buddy Holly down center there with the red background and the two yellow rows on either side. Not quite as big a Hitmakers, but it's just a gorgeous, fascinating layout. I think it's one of Globe's absolute monster classics ever. And what's stupefying is that it was used for 2 weeks. It was a 2-week and 2-day tour, so call that 16 days. What a waste of a great design instead of a barnstorming summer tour of 3 months or something. This is a tough poster to find. That's about the 6th I've seen, but it's, I collect real heavily for 20 years. It's a tough poster to find because it was only used for 2 weeks, but believe it or not, it was used in like 7 or 8 states. I'll get to that in a second. Where do I begin? Interestingly, if you do see a little bit of reflection on this, it's a cardboard concert poster that was laminated with a very, very, very thin plastic a long time ago. I've never seen anything quite like it. I've seen laminated concert posters and they're sort of like thick and cumbersome. This thing still has pretty much basically the same flexibility and consistency as the original cardboard poster did. It's just got this, it's not painted on or anything, it's like shellac or anything. It's just got this big sheet of super ultra thin and ultra clear laminated plastic that went over it. So that's helped preserve it. But anyway, that's why I see the occasional reflection you don't see with a cardboard concert poster. So here we have this, I guess you can call it 2-week tour barnstorming, right? 2 weeks and 2 days. All of 18 shows this poster represented. And of course, it is a tour blank, which means they printed from here down in quantities and then would strip in the different dates up here, anywhere from 10, 20, 30, 50 posters or whatever. And they made this in a smaller size as well, by the way. But this is the 22 by 28 inch jumbo size. And boy, I'll tell you, everybody on this poster was working really hard, including the people behind the scenes, because they played without a day off. During those 2 weeks and 2 days, there was a show every single day from January 8th to January 24th. And where did they play? What states? North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York State, up to Canada, and then Kentucky. OMG, can you believe that? In 16 days. Now, taking on the individual artists, the Everly Brothers being top billed there, and that's because they had struck #2 with Bye Bye Love and #1 with Wake Up Little Susie the previous year. By the way, since this is January 18th, this poster was definitely designed in '57 and possibly even printed in late '57. So the Everly Brothers had struck twice, gold in '57, real big, and in fact, Wake Up Little Susie was still in Billboard's top 20 at the time of this show. So when it says America's Greatest Teenage Recording Stars, kind of line that I just love across the top there, it really, a lot of these, all these people, pretty much, we'll get to that in a minute, had hits. So the Everly Brothers, they're going to hit #1 again twice this year in '58 with Bird Dog and All I Have to Do Is Dream. And their first album, the Everly Brothers, was released this exact month, January of '58. So it's sort of like an Everly Brothers dream poster, no doubt about it. And below them you have Jimmy Rogers with Honeycomb there. And he was right in the middle of 4 straight top 10 hits, which is really cool. And the most enduring being Honeycomb plugged on the poster. But at the moment of this show, Kisses Sweeter Than Wine was in Billboard's top 10. Now, of course, Honeycomb was still in the top 42, so he was writing 2 hits right now. And below that, the Rays with Silhouettes. See that? Oh, the Rays were a one-hit wonder, but oh, what an enduring contribution. I mean, Silhouettes is just a true 50s, R&B evergreen or pop evergreen, whatever. And this particular week, it was #11 on Billboard's charts. And then, of course, we have Buddy down there Buddy Holly and the Crickets, a couple of great songs plugged, obviously, Oh Boy and Peggy Sue. I knew that, but I just sometimes get nervous and forget. And so just awesome, timing in Buddy's career. He had only 3 top 10 hits. That's a little surprising. And all 3 of them led into this concert. And his charting career was only 5 months old. That'll be the day in August of '57. Peggy Sue and Oh Boy, both in November '57. Interestingly, one is the Crickets and one is Buddy Holly, on the record label themselves. And this week, Peggy Sue was number 5 and Oh Boy number 12. And his next single, Maybe Baby, would come out in February, the next month after this poster. So, woo, right in the middle of it. Great photograph down there at the bottom of Eddie Cochran with his mouth open. He hadn't made his mark yet, but this year he would, and '58 was the year of both Summertime Blues and Come On Everybody. Now, getting into a little bit more obscure. There's Margie Rayburn over there. She had a top 10 hit with that song I'm Available in '57, which was still in Billboard's top 40. And then we have, oh yes, we have Paul Anka. Look at that, Sweet 16, only 16 years old. That's amazing. Diana was number 1 the previous year, making him the youngest self-made millionaire in U.S. history at the time. He wrote it, produced it, and recorded it, so I'm sure some .com guy has knocked him off the perch since then, or long before then. But at the time, he had that proud title. And it says My Destiny on there as well. That would hit the charts this week and become his second top 10 hit, and then of course he went on to a legendary Las Vegas career. Where do we have the Shepherd Sisters here? I guess they're at the top of the other side. The Shepherd Sisters, there we go. And they were by way of Middletown, Ohio, and Alone, Why Must I Be Alone was top 20 the previous fall, their only hit. That Alone there. The Tune Weavers had a top 5 hit with Happy Happy Birthday Baby, The Husband, a Wife, a Brother, and a Cousin, and their only charting record. The Hollywood Flames, LA-based R&B group with lots of personnel changes, Buzz 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 was their only charting single. Jimmy Edwards, see him there? He did well to get his picture on the poster. Love Bug Crawl was his only record, a grand total of 3 weeks, and it peaked at number 78. But what's with that Billy Brown? I could do more research. Did he get ripped off or what? No picture, no song title, no graphic. He just gets nothing but his name just stuck in there. And I'm sure, if music historians and fans know who Billy Brown is and stuff, and they're talking to themselves. But it's just this poster's, if names and gold records had real weight on posters, I wouldn't be able to hold it up. I mean, it's just a monster pastiche of hit-making talent and great naivety of the late '50s, and Buddy Holly at his peak. He hadn't started any kind of decline, not to mention the plane crash or anything yet, and it's just a wonderful poster. So I think that pretty much covers everybody on the actually I saved for last and almost forgot the number 1 record in the entire United States at the time of this poster. As he zooms in on it and awkwardly juggles the poster around, you might have seen it, but that's right, at the time of this show, Danny and the Juniors had the number 1 record in the United States with At the Hop. Danny and the Juniors formed at a Philadelphia high school. Definitely a seminal rock and roll hit from the '50s that was number 1 for 7 weeks and immortalized when they performed it live in the Woodstock movie. Unfortunately, Danny and the Juniors, they enjoyed that bit of glory. They would barely get back into the top 20 with the follow-up record Rock and Roll Is Here to Stay, which peaked at number 19, but then their day in the sun was over, and the other perhaps more serious rock acts took over. So there you have it, an absolute, take my word for it please, an absolute masterpiece of a concert poster. I've rarely done a video blog entry where I've been so fully satisfied with just an incredible poster, and I just can't wait to get it up on the site so people can see it. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you were here, you probably were here for a reason and hopefully got a good kick out of it. So thanks a lot for your time, and I don't know what I can follow this with, but I'll try to find something. Okay, thanks a lot. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.